Well, I guess there's a time and a place to make a statement prior to trial or during investigation, and that time is usually pretty small. The times when I would advise someone to give a statement prior to a trial is usually pretty limited. There's not a lot of times that occurs, but people always give this advice: don't make a statement, don't make a statement, don't make a statement, and that's not always true. That's typically true, but it's not always true. So I had a field grade officer come into my office. And he was accused of some, things that career-ending things that could be very career-ending. He was in professional services. Okay, he was a provider as a doc, and he wanted to make a statement. And so I said, let's sit down and talk this through under attorney-client confidentiality. And we probably put in, I'd say, 20 hours just talking, and then reading the investigation, interviewing people, going back and talking, going back and going through the investigation again. And after that 20 hours, we probably put, I had like 83 hours in the case. I was looking at this the other day. I think I had 83 hours in this case under pre-charging representation. And then we went out and did additional interviews. And then we decided, hey, we actually believe you're innocent. I think I can kill this with the investigating officer who was an '05 who wanted our client to make a statement. And so I said, okay, let's go through the likely questions they're going to ask. And I drafted kind of my own likely questions. And I asked her for a list of questions, and she actually provided those to me. So I took mine, and plus I took hers, and we prepped it. I brought the client into the office, and we rehearsed the interview, or I didn't think he was ready to answer. And we did this over and over and over, so he was prepared for that interview. By now, we're probably at 35, 40 hours into this case before he even made a statement. And then I called the investigating officer in. I made her come down to our office, which she was great. She authorized that, but I wanted it on my turf. I wanted to have the home field advantage. I wanted her to be in our office, not me to be in hers. And we set it up, and that interview process took about 8 hours. I mean, remember, we were there the whole day.
Yeah.
And then there was a follow-on from that. And the beautiful part, my client was a very intelligent officer, very, very well prepared. He did extraordinarily well. I mean, he did really, really well. And then after that, we then drafted a statement. This is where Jeff helped me draft this. I drafted it. Jeff helped me with it. And we put together, I think you did a couple rounds of edits too. We put together a written statement for my client in addition to a sworn statement laying everything out. And we made a strategic decision to turn that in. So we turned all this in. At this point in time, our client gave a statement, but we're probably 50 hours in. I mean, it was extraordinary the amount of prep work we put into this. We turned that statement in. There was a request for a second interview, which we prepped for. And then the investigating officer found no misconduct whatsoever. Absolutely no basis for misconduct. He was completely clear. There is not enough evidence to charge you. This is absolutely an exoneration. And so then he went back to practicing and went back on with his career. We shook hands, and he's someone I still keep in touch with. But to your point, if you're going to make a statement, you can't just roll in and make a statement to law enforcement. You're going to get destroyed. That statement that we did, we have probably, by the time you made the statement, 45, 50 hours into it. And it worked out really well. And that's not a unique case. You just represent, I don't know what's up with the docs, but you represent another provider where it was something similar where you have prepared everything. And I know it was a 𝗕𝗄𝗓, which was actually ripped up by the CG. You probably had 50, 60 hours in that case before ever presenting it to the CG. And so these things just don't happen overnight. And so I guess the moral of the story is you can't just go in and say, I'm innocent, I'm going to go talk to NCIS, because they're going to twist your words around, and the statement you want to present may not be the one you actually present. And that's going to burn you later on down the road. If you get a general officer memorandum of reprimand, which we all know in today's, it's an Army, it's a reprimand from a general officer in the Army, you need to respond to that. If you just go start typing on your computer and don't have a game plan or a strategic plan, that's going to get permanently filed, and you're going to probably get kicked out of the Army. So all of these things, it takes an extraordinary amount of prep time, and that's from very experienced counsel. Between the two of us, we've got over 40 years of experience. You add Jeff in, we're at 55. You add Dave in, we're at 65 years of experience. Even with that amount of experience just doing this, it still takes 40, 50 hours to put something like this together. But that's the key, is making sure that if you're going to do that, you do the prep work and you don't go do it on your own. And it goes back to this, I guess maybe I'm going to Florida next week, because this hurricane analogy. Get prepared before the storm comes. That way you're able to weather the storm and ride it out and be able to survive on the other side of it.